I do not know whether this musing today is going to make sense or come together well enough. That's the thought, the idea, the subject matter is still very new, very fresh as I am developing it from the feelings within me. Whew. It's again surrounding the difference between living from your spiritual ego or living from your soul. And this is one thing I have observed with some people that have gone through the dark night of the soul. Instead of dissolving their ego, they have developed a new layer. A new layer, a new overlay of ego. They've developed a spiritual ego, a more enlightened ego. But the problem with that, the nature of duality of the ego, is that it's, let's say it's a less wounded ego than the previous one. There's some more awareness there now. But I heard this one person speak of it, and they were saying that they've learned a lot from their dark night of the soul, from the twin flame journey, etc. But here's what they said that made me realize that this person has not dissolved their ego. They just morphed it into a more spiritual version. And this person said that they expected a whole bunch of people that had caused them harm to come and make an apology. That seems like a normal expectation, right? Why wouldn't you expect the people that hurt you, harmed you in life, to come and apologize at one point in life? I tell you why that is ego. Because in that setting, you are still identified with what was done to your persona. You're still identifying with the persona that can be hurt, but it's just a persona. That's not the real you. And I don't mean to make it sound so abstract. This is only going to make sense if you are walking in the sovereignty of your soul and not just in another version, a spiritual ego, right? See, for me, that doesn't exist anymore. I do not live with this expectation and this demand that all the people that have ever hurt me and caused me pain will come and apologize. I have literally, by abandoning and disidentifying with the ego that was hurt, by disidentifying with that and identifying with my soul, with my divine soul, I don't feel this need that people have to come and apologize to me for hurting my ego persona. Was the hurt real? Absolutely. But am I identifying with the persona that experienced the hurt? No. No. So I think I said this in another musing. You don't ever have to come and apologize to me. That doesn't mean that you will get unlimited or free access to me. Because I think that you need to develop and mature further to where you're not just living with the intention of an apology, but that you're living with the intention of change, right? You need to change your life, not for my sake. And I don't demand that people apologize for me, because I realize that it's not about the apology, it's about them maturing. And I don't need an apology for whatever you have done, right? I realize it's crappy enough for you to have to live from that limited awareness that you're currently in, that would cause you to harm another person or hurt another person. It's enough of a hell for you to live at that consciousness level. And so I'm not going to put another expectation and demand on you that you conduct yourself appropriately with me in offering an apology. Does this make sense? Like I said, I don't need an apology for what you do. What you do is who you are, right? And you can't apologize for who you are, but you can grow. You can mature, and you can expand your consciousness to where you change, right? So an apology then turns into change. I would rather that you change for your sake and the people that you engage with. Because as you change, as your consciousness expands, as your soul awareness comes online, you're going to hurt a lot less people, a lot less often. Because you're not living from your hurt ego. You're living truly from a new identity. And that's what I mean. I don't have a polished version of an ego that still has all the same demands, that still demands respect, that still demands apologies, etc., etc. That is such an unfree way of being. And I wouldn't want to live under the weight of waiting for people to come and apologize. You can set yourself free from the hurt and from this need for apology by simply abandoning the identification with your ego. In this case, your spiritual ego, right? Ego will never allow you to live free. See, I'm now in a place where nothing can really hurt me. And when somebody hurts me, and usually it's not on purpose, it's just from their unconscious state, I know where that's coming from. I know that they don't mean that consciously. They are reacting and responding from an inner unconscious discontent with themselves, right? So I don't need to put the burden on them now to you have to do all this and that for you to be accepted. No, you have to change. You have to mature, right? And perhaps several more initiations through the dark night of the soul will make you aware and change you there. But I said a lot of things and really feel like I said nothing. Like I said, this is still relatively new. We have to abandon ego, the identification with ego, period. That is the dual world of good and evil. That is the world where you believe that someone else can harm you. No one can really harm you. Yes, they can cause you pain, physical pain. Yesterday I took a blunt hit to my head. One of the racks, 2x4 racks, fell on my head that I was trying to assemble. Yes, I felt the pain, but I don't see it as, oh, evil has struck and gotten even with me. I have a hard time conveying what I'm saying, that I'm living, my soul lives outside of the realm of good and evil. And that's the problem with ego. Everybody, every child is initiated into the world of ego. And the born again moment comes later in life when the soul demands that we put that down and start living from our soul awareness, right? Higher self. Until then, we're going to continue the duality game, the blame game, the expectation game, and make enemies, right? Spiritual ego just gives it different names. I hope you have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon.